Chapter 1. I opened my eyes in yesterday's dressy woke up to the sound of someone crying. For a second, I thought it was a dream. The sound was soft, shaky, like someone trying not to be heard. Then I realized it was coming from my own throat. I snapped my eyes open. A white ceiling, a crystal chandelier, soft golden light, the scent of flowers and expensive perfume. Satin under my fingers. No. This can't be. I shot up in bed. A wedding dress lay across the chair in front of me. My wedding dress. Off-shoulder, lace bodice, long train. I remember picking it out with Lena, crying in the changing room because I had finally found the one. But I wasn't crying then. I was crying later. After the wedding. After the lies. After the hospital. My heart slammed against my ribs. This isn't real, I whispered. But when I looked down at my hands, they were the same hands I remembered from that day. Smooth, unscarred, no faint tan line of a ring. Because I hadn't worn it yet. The door burst open. Mia, you're awake, thank God. I thought you fainted from stress or something. Lena rushed in, holding a makeup bag in one hand and my phone in the other. Her long brown hair was tied in a messy ponytail, and her pink dress made her look like a flower girl instead of my maid of honor. I stared at her like I'd seen a ghost. Because I had, Lena, I whispered. She frowned. Yeah. Don't tell me you forgot me already. Don't scare me like that, bride. The word bride hit me like a slap. Wait, I croaked. What time is it? She checked her phone. It's almost 9. The ceremony is at 12. You have 3 hours to panic, cry, get your makeup done, and decide not to run away. I'd say that's generous. Double quotes 9. Wedding at 12. This was my wedding day. My first wedding day. I grabbed the edge of the blanket so hard my fingers hurt. Lena, I said slowly, my voice shaking. What's the date? She gave me a weird look. Are you serious? Just tell me. June 23rd, she said. You picked it because you like the numbers, remember? 2 + 3 = 5. Like the 5 letters in my name, your words, not mine. June 20-3rd. The same date. The exact same date. My breath came out in short, sharp bursts. Images flashed in my mind like a broken movie. The hospital. Bright white lights. The smell of antiseptic. Leo lying on the bed, pale. Tubes everywhere. Adrian's empty expression. Emma's fake tears. My own voice screaming. What did you do? What did you do? I squeezed my eyes shut. My head throbbed. Mia. Lena's voice softened. Hey, breathe. You're just nervous. Cold feet are normal. Cute, even. Don't pass out before the makeup artist gets here. I already paid half. I remember. I whispered. Remember what? I opened my eyes and looked at her. Really looked at her. Her worried face. Her hands fussing with the edge of the dress. In my last life, she was there at the wedding. And then, she wasn't. When everything fell apart, when everyone turned against me, Lena disappeared. No calls, no texts, nothing. Back then, I thought, maybe she's busy. Maybe she doesn't know. Now I wasn't so sure. I had a nightmare. I lied. My voice steadied a little. About today, she relaxed. Of course you did. You're about to marry Adrian Knight. The Adrian Knight. CEO. Golden boy. Stupidly handsome. Rich. Lena. Yeah. I swallowed. Do you think he loves me? She blinked. Wow. That's a heavy question for 9 in the morning. Just answer. She shrugged. He acts like it. He proposed. He planned this whole fairy tale wedding. He looks at you like you hung the moon. I mean, yeah. I think he does. He looked at me like that. Then he threw me away like trash. My stomach twisted. Why? She asked gently. Did your nightmare say otherwise? Nightmare? If only it was just that. I forced a smile. It felt wrong on my face. Maybe I'm overthinking. Definitely. She said. It's fine. Every bride cries at least once. You're still on schedule for being normal. If I'm normal, then what was my death? My memories were too clear to be dreams. The cold courtroom, the cold divorce papers, the cold faces. Adrian's voice, calm and distant, saying, "It's better this way, Mia." The whispers that I pushed Leo, the lawsuit, the news articles, the headlines, the way my heart stopped looking for reasons to live. I stared at my reflection in the mirror. I was younger. There were no dark circles under my eyes yet, no dullness. My hair was long and shiny, pinned up loosely. My lips weren't bitten raw. My shoulders weren't hunched. "I'm back," I whispered to the girl in the mirror. "Here, again." "What was that?" Lena asked. "Nothing." I needed to think, to test this. If this really was the same day, then everything would happen like before unless I changed it. "You okay?" Lena moved closer, her eyes searching mine. "Mia, if you don't want to do this, you can still back out. I'll help you pack a bag. We'll run away and open a tiny cafe in the mountains." I almost laughed. "And how would we pay for it?" "We sell overpriced coffee and emotional support croissants." I let out a small breath. "You'd really help me run away." She hesitated. That half-second pause. I saw it this time. "Sure," she said. If that's what you want, she was lying. Or at least, she wouldn't choose me when things got ugly. I knew that now. "I'm not running," I said. "Not this time. I just need to be sure." "Sure of what?" "That I'm not making a mistake. That I won't die the same way twice." There was a soft knock on the door. "Come in," Lena called. A hotel staff member peeked in. "Miss, the groom sent this for you." He stepped in and handed me a small velvet box. My fingers trembled as I took it. I knew this box. The first time. I opened it and cried because it was the matching bracelet Adrian designed himself. Later, I found the receipt he bought 3 identical ones. I flipped it open. There it was, silver, delicate, a tiny carved heart like clockwork. I swallowed hard. "Did he say anything?" I asked. "Yes, Mom," the staff member said. He said, "Tell her I'm waiting downstairs if she wants to see me before the ceremony." My heart lurched. He waited downstairs, just like before. "Thank you," I murmured. When the door closed, Lena squealed, "See, he's so sweet. Who does this anymore?" I stared at the bracelet. He wore that same smile when he lied in court. He wore that same smile when he put a pen in my hand and said, "Just sign, Mia. It's just paperwork." I snapped the box shut. "I want to see him," I said. Lena blinked. "Now." "Yes. Before the ceremony, okay." Dramatic bride. "Do you want me to come with you?" I shook my head. "No. I want to go alone." She studied me for a moment, then nodded. "Fine. I'll tell the makeup artist to wait. Don't be long. If you come back with puffy eyes, I'll kill you before he can marry you." "Got it," I said. I slid off the bed. The floor was cold under my bare feet. I grabbed a robe and slipped it on over my slip dress. As I headed to the door, Lena called after me. "Mean." I paused and looked back. "You're going to be okay," she said with a soft smile. "This is your happy ending." I held her gaze. "No," I said quietly. "This is my second beginning." She frowned, confused, but I was already turning away. I stepped into the hallway. My pulse pounded in my ears. Every step felt both familiar and new. I knew the path to the elevator. I knew the smell of the hotel. I knew the faint music playing downstairs. I also knew that at the end of this day, last time, someone almost died. Maybe because of me. Maybe because of him. Maybe because of all of us. But not this time. "I won't let you destroy me again, Adrian," I whispered to myself as I walked. "I remember everything now, and I'm not the same bride you married before." Chapter 2. The man I loved, the man who Lady heard his laugh before I saw him. Deep, warm, familiar. It wrapped around my heart like an old song I used to love and now hated. The elevator doors slid open to the lobby floor. The hotel's grand chandelier sparkled above the marble, and the smell of coffee and polish would fill the air. Voices echoed from the lounge area. And there he was. Adrian Knight. My fiancé. My future ex-husband. The man who once promised to protect me and then threw me to the wolves. He was standing near the floor-to-ceiling windows, talking to the hotel manager. Tall, dark hair styled perfectly. Black suit fitting him like it was made for him. He moved with calm confidence, one hand in his pocket, the other gesturing lightly as he spoke. When he smiled, the manager laughed like she just heard the funniest thing ever. I remember that smile. That same smile sat across from me in a courtroom and didn't even flinch when my life burned. My chest tightened. As if he sensed me. Adrian turned his head. Our eyes met. For a second, the world went silent. The hotel, the music, the people, it all blurred. There was just him. His dark eyes softened, and that lazy, gentle smile spread across his face. There she is, he said. The manager stepped aside as he walked toward me. Each step felt like a memory. The first time he walked toward me at a business dinner. The first time he walked toward me with flowers in his hand. The first time he walked toward me with divorce papers. Mia, he said, stopping in front of me. His gaze swept over my robe, my bare face, my messy hair. He chuckled. You look like you escaped the bridal suite in the past. I would have blushed and said something shy. This time, I held his gaze and said, maybe I did. He raised a brow, amused. Cold feet. If I said yes, I asked quietly, what would you do? His expression softened. I'd take your hand, walk you out of here, and marry you in the parking lot if I had to. He reached out and gently brushed a strand of hair away from my face. With or without the guests, with or without the dress, just you and me. That's all I need. God, he was good. I felt my throat burn. I almost believed him again. Almost. I stepped back just enough that his hand dropped. He noticed. A tiny flash of confusion crossed his face, then disappeared. I needed to hear him, to test him, to see if the man I loved and the man who ruined me were always the same. You sent me a bracelet, I said, gripping the velvet box in my hand. Yeah. His smile deepened. Did you like it? I tilted my head. Did you design it yourself? He chuckled. Of course. Who else would? Lying, I remembered the board receipt from a high-end store with 3 identical purchases. One for me, one for Emma, one. I never found the third one. I kept my face neutral. It's pretty. That's it. He teased. No crying this time. Last time you opened a gift for me, you burst into tears and hugged me like I'd handed you the moon. Last time. Last life. My fingers tightened around the box until my knuckles turned white. Maybe I'm trying not to ruin my makeup, I said. His eyes flicked to my bare face. He laughed. You're not even wearing makeup yet. Then maybe I'm trying not to ruin your suit, I replied flatly. His smile faltered, just a little. Mia, are you okay? No. Yes, I said. He took a step closer. I could smell his cologne, clean, expensive, painfully familiar. You seem different. Good. Is that a problem? I asked. He studied me carefully, like I was a document he needed to read twice, in a good way. He said finally, you look calm. I was expecting you to freak out, honestly. I already did. I said, you just missed it. He smiled again, a little cautious this time. You know you can tell me anything, right? Anything? Like how you framed me, used me. Let your best friend almost die with secrets he never got to finish telling me. I forced a breath and asked, Adrian, do you really love me? He blinked, clearly not expecting that. What kind of question is that? Just answer. He didn't reply right away. Instead, he reached for my hand and laced his fingers through mine. His hand was warm, steady, and so familiar that my heart twisted. I wouldn't be here if I didn't. He said softly, I have more than enough money, Mia. I don't need your family's business. I don't need your father's approval. I chose you. You know that, right? Every word hit like a stone. I don't need your family's business. Liar. I pulled my hand back slowly. And Leo? I asked. His eyes sharpened. What about Leo? You're very close, I said carefully. Sometimes it feels like you two are, I don't know, more honest with each other than you are with me. He let out a short laugh, relaxed again. Are you jealous of my best friend on our wedding day? I'm asking a question. He's like a brother, Adrian said. We've known each other since we were kids. He's always been protective of me and now of you too. If anything, you should be happy he likes you. He likes me. I asked slowly. Yeah. Why? Did he say something weird? I thought about the way Leo looked at me in my past life, right before the fall. The way his hand reached for mine. The way he tried to say something, but blood choked his words. He asked if I was sure. I said, about marrying you? Adrian frowned. When? Before. I said vaguely. Before the last timeline. Before he bled. And what if I'm not sure? He went very still. The lobby noise faded into the background. For a moment, it was just us, standing in a quiet bubble of tension. Mia, he said slowly. If you want to postpone, we can talk about it. I don't want you walking down the aisle with doubts in your head. That's very understanding of you. I said, it's not understanding, he replied. It's love. The word felt dirty when he said it, love. Did he love me when he watched me get blamed for pushing Leo? Did he love me when he handed over the documents with my forged signature? Did he love me when he walked away without looking back? I swallowed the bitter taste in my mouth. And Emma? I asked casually, watching his face closely. He froze. It was a small freeze, barely a second, but I saw it. What about Emma? He asked, voice light. She's coming today. I said, right, yes. She texted me earlier. He said it quickly, then corrected himself. Texted us. You, the group chat. You know how she is. Excited, loud. I remembered his phone lighting up late at night, Emma flashing across the screen, him saying, it's just family. Do you like her? I asked. He laughed. She's your cousin. That's not what I asked. He looked at me for a long moment, then leaned in closer. I like you, he murmured. And on our wedding day. That's the only answer you're getting. Deflection. He was good at that, too. I see, I said. He studied me like he was trying to solve a puzzle. You're acting strange. Would you prefer I cry and cling to you? I asked softly. Beg you never to leave me? His jaw tensed. Where is this coming from? From the future where you did exactly that? I shook my head. It's nothing. Just nerves. He sighed, then reached out again, this time placing his hand gently on my cheek. Mia, listen to me. After today, it's you and me. No more flirting, no more games, no more doubts. I'll take care of you. I promise. The promise that broke me once. I held his gaze and smiled just a little. Then you won't mind if I watch things more closely from now on, I said. People, business, you. He chuckled. What? Are you going to audit my life? Yes, I said simply. I think I will. His smile thinned. You don't trust me. I want to. I said, but trust is earned, right? He stared at me, then slowly nodded. Okay, then I'll earn it. Again and again, if I have to. You never did. Good, I murmured. He glanced at his watch. You should go back up. They'll start panicking if the bride disappears too long. Adrian, I said suddenly. He looked back at me. Yeah, I have something happen today. I said, my heart pounding. If there's a fight, or an accident, or some kind of mess, promise me you won't lie. Not to me, not to anyone. His brows drew together. Why would you say that? Just promise. He hesitated. Then he smiled that soft, fake, perfect smile. I promise, he said. I memorized his face in that moment, the way he lied like it was nothing, the way I believed him once. Okay, I said, I'll hold you to it, as I turned to leave. I felt his eyes on my back, heavy and thoughtful, like he sensed the shift but couldn't name it. You're right to feel uneasy, Adrian, I thought, because this time, I'm not walking into your life blind. I'm walking in with my eyes wide open. Chapter 3. Her best friend and his perfect smiley didn't see Leo until almost an hour later. By then, the bridal suite was a storm. The makeup artist was fixing my face like it was a broken painting. The hairstylist complained about my nervous movements. Lena kept checking the time like the clock owed her money. Stop frowning. The makeup artist scolded. You'll wrinkle your forehead. Sorry. I muttered. If she saw the way my soul looked, she'd forget about my forehead. There was a soft knock on the door. Lena opened it a crack. If you're not food, flowers, or a miracle, go away, we're busy. A familiar voice laughed. I'm at least 2 out of 3. My heart skipped. Leo. Lena's tone flipped instantly. Oh my God, Leo, you're here already? She opened the door wider, and he leaned against the frame with easy charm, as if the whole world was his living room. Leonardo Hayes, Adrian's best friend. The funny one, the one I used to think was harmless, all jokes and soft smiles. The one I watched roll down the stairs in my last life. He looked almost the same as I remembered. Messy dark blonde hair, light brown eyes that crinkled at the corners. A suit that was technically formal but somehow still looked casual on him. Tie loose, top button undone. Like he dressed up and then got bored halfway. When his gaze landed on me, his smile brightened. Well, he said. Is this the part where I'm supposed to cry because you grew up so fast? The makeup artist straightened. Don't you dare make her cry. She's on schedule. Leo put his hands up. Relax. I'll be emotionally supportive from a safe distance. In my first life. I laughed at that. This time, I just watched him. Hey, Mia, he said more softly. You look, wow. I forced a small smile. You look like you woke up 10 minutes ago. He grinned. That's what the cologne is for. Lena rolled her eyes. Why are you here? You're not supposed to see the bride before the wedding. Isn't that bad luck or something? That's only for the groom, Leo said. Best friend privileges. Besides, I came bearing gifts. He pulled a small paper bag from behind his back and held it out. For the bride, Lena leaned forward. If that's food, I'm stealing it. I took the bag. Inside, there was a bottle of cold water and a chocolate bar. My chest tightened. In my first life, I was so nervous I forgot to eat. At the reception, I almost fainted. I never knew he'd brought this. Thanks, I said quietly. Don't read into it, Leo said. I just don't want you passing out and ruining the playlist. I picked half the songs, you know. Lena snorted. You picked all the sad, dramatic ones. Exactly, he said. We need your energy for that. While Lena and the makeup artist bickered lightly with him, I studied Leo's face, the curve of his smile, the shadows under his eyes, the way he glanced at me like he wanted to say something more but kept stopping himself. Just like before, guys, I said, can I talk to Leo alone for a second? Lena blinked. Alone? Why? Because I said so, I replied, a bit sharper than I intended. She raised her hands. Okay. I'll go flirt with a photographer or something. She grabbed the makeup artist's arm. 2 minutes. Don't touch anything important. They stepped out, grumbling together. The room went quiet. Leo let out a low whistle. Wow. Bride power. I'm kind of scared of you right now. Good, I said. Maybe you should be. He paused. That didn't sound like a joke. I set the paper bag down carefully. Thank you. For the water and chocolate. His expression softened. No problem. It's not like I did much. Adrian's the one doing everything. I'm just here to clap at the right moments and stop him from having a breakdown if you decide to run. Do you think I should run? I asked. He stared at me. In my past life, I remember this exact moment. The question slipping from my lips as a nervous joke. His answer a joking. Too late, sweetheart. The man already rented the hall. This time, I wasn't joking. Are you serious? He asked. Yes. He looked toward the closed door as if checking we were really alone. Then he looked back at me with new eyes. More careful, more focused. Okay, he said slowly. Honest answer. Yes, please. He sighed and ran a hand through his hair, messing it up even more. If you want me to say he's perfect and you're the luckiest girl alive, I can do that. I've done it before. Everyone expects me to. That's not what I want. I know, he said quietly. That's why I'm thinking. There. That was different already. In my first life. He hid behind jokes longer. Now, my seriousness dragged something else out of him. Mia, he said, his voice slower. Adrian isn't simple. He cares about you. I've seen it. But he also cares about other things. Like what? I pressed. He hesitated. His image, his work, his deals, winning, and my family's company. I asked. His eyes flicked to mine, fast and sharp, like I'd poked a nerve. What about it? He asked carefully. You tell me. I said. You're his best friend. You know his reasons. He studied me. Why are you suddenly asking about this? Did someone say something? I thought of angry newspapers, of my father's cold eyes, of my brother shouting, he used you. I thought of Leo in a hospital bed, trying to warm me with half his lungs working. No, I said, just a feeling. He blew out a breath. I hate feelings. Then give me facts. I said. Another silence. Finally, Leo looked away and said, Adrian didn't grow up like you did. Your family had money. His didn't. He built everything he has. He doesn't like feeling powerless. Your father. His company there, let's just say Adrian doesn't like being the one asking for favors. So he prefers to own the person who has what he needs. I said flatly. Is that it? Leo winced. That's a harsh way to put it. Is it wrong? His jaw clenched. He loves you, he said. I'm sure of that. But I'm also sure he sees opportunity when it's in front of him. And he doesn't walk away from it. Opportunities like forging my name on documents, using my trust, leaving me to drown. I nodded slowly. Thank you. I appreciate the honesty. You say that, he said dryly. But you look like you want to stab me with a mascara wand. That's not for you, I said. Don't worry. Leo looked at me again, more closely than before. Something's different about you, he said. You were always a little too trusting. Today you're not disappointed? I asked. He shook his head. No. Weirdly proud, actually. My chest tightened. I remembered how. In the hospital room in my last life, Leo's eyes were glassy as he tried to speak. Should have told you sooner, he gasped. I never found out what it was. Not then. I wasn't going to let history repeat itself. Leo, I said quietly, if something happened today, if there was a fight between you and Adrian, where would it be? He blinked. What kind of question is that? Just answer. He laughed, but it sounded forced. Probably near the bar, or outside, or by the, I don't know. Why are you planning our fights in advance? The stairs, I said. His smile vanished. A chill slid through me. I'd hit the right place. Why did you say that? He asked slowly. In my nightmare, I lied. You two were arguing by the stairs. And then you fell. And I never stopped hearing the sound of your body hitting each step. And then what? He asked, voice tight. I met his eyes. You got hurt. Leo went quiet. Then he let out a shaky laugh. Well, good thing it was just a nightmare. It felt real. I whispered. He studied me for a long time. Mia, yes, if Adrian and I ever fight like that, he said, don't get between us. Okay. You run. You call someone, but don't stand there. Don't try to fix it. I'm not going to run, I said. Not this time. He stared at me like I'd said something impossible. This time, I smiled faintly. Figure of speech. Lena knocked twice and pushed the door open without waiting. Time's up. I need my bride back. Leo, stop corrupting her with your bad influence. He stepped aside, mask slipping back into place. On the contrary, he said lightly, I'm giving her excellent advice. Like what? Always order fries. Lena teased. That too, he said. Hey, Mia. I looked at him. His eyes were serious again. Just for a second. If you ever feel like you're not safe, tell me, okay? My throat tightened. In my last life. He said something like that too. But I brushed it off. I didn't want to make Adrian look bad. I trusted the wrong man and doubted the right one. I will, I said. He nodded once, like we had just made some silent deal. Then he smiled his easy smile again, winked at Lena, and walked out of the room with his hands in his pockets, humming under his breath. I watched the door close behind him. Same man, same smile, same dangerous day. But this time, I knew two things for sure. Adrian wasn't the only one hiding something. And if I wanted to survive this wedding, I had to make sure Leo made it out alive too. Chapter 4. The wedding that already happened. I always thought déjà vu would feel soft and dreamy. It didn't. It felt like standing inside a trap you'd already died in once. The music started first. Soft piano. The same song I chose last time because the lyrics made me cry. The doors of the hall were closed in front of me, tall and heavy, blocking the view of the aisle and the guests. Ready? Lena whispered beside me, holding my bouquet like it was a bomb. I stared at the doors and swallowed hard. No, she laughed nervously. Too late. You're on in 3, 2. The doors opened. Light poured in. So did sound. Whispers, shifting chairs, the rustle of fabric, the clicking of cameras. The long red carpet stretched toward the altar, and at the end of it, under a huge arch of white flowers, stood Adrian. My groom. My mistake, the first time. My chest burned with happiness. I couldn't stop smiling. I thought, this is it. This is my forever. Now. My heart was quiet. I stepped forward. Each step echoed in my head with memories. Emma sitting in the second row on the bride's side, smiling too brightly, dressed just a little too glamorous for a guest. Clara, Adrian's mother, in a pale blue dress, lips pursed, eyes sharp, watching everything like a queen judging a ceremony. My father, stiff in his suit, checking his watch like this was a meeting he had to endure. Noah, my older brother, standing beside him, arms crossed, gaze cold as he studied Adrian like a contract he wanted to reject. Every detail was exactly the same. Except me. I held my bouquet tighter and lifted my chin. Breathe. Lena whispered from behind. Smile. Think of puppies or something. I thought of fraud papers, hospital bills, divorce documents. I smiled anyway. As I walked, I met eyes with Emma. She waved, all sweetness. Her golden curls were pinned perfectly. Her lipstick was a soft pink, her eyes shining with what looked like warmth. In my last life, I thought, she's so happy for me. Now I saw the way her gaze slid past me to Adrian, the way her fingers curled around her clutch when he smiled. She wasn't happy for me. She was hungry. I moved my gaze forward and met Noah's eyes. Even back then, he didn't look pleased. He told me quietly, "You're rushing this, Mia." He's too smooth. Men like that don't show you their real face until they've already won. I didn't listen. Now his suspicious glare at Adrian almost comforted me. You were right, I thought. You were so right. Adrian's eyes never left me as I approached. He looked at me like I was the only person in the room. His expression was soft, adoring, a little overwhelmed. He acted this scene so well the first time. I wondered if he ever got tired of lying. At the top of the aisle, my father stepped forward. We hadn't walked together in my last life. I'd insisted on going alone, saying it was modern and symbolic, really. I just didn't want to bother him. Today, he surprised me by offering his arm. Want a lift for the last few steps? He murmured. I blinked at him. This was new. I whispered, slipping my hand through his arm. We walked the remaining distance together. I could feel the tension in his body. He wasn't fully happy about this, but he was doing it anyway. When we reached Adrian, my father looked him in the eye for a long moment. You sure? He asked. The priest cleared his throat politely. A few guests laughed. Adrian smiled. More than sure, sir. My father's jaw flexed. He placed my hand in Adrian's. Then you better prove it. The word stirred something in me. Yes. I thought darkly. Prove it. Let's see how long you can act. The ceremony began. The priest spoke about love, commitment, trust, about building a life together through sickness and health, joy and sorrow. I almost laughed out loud. You have no idea, I thought. I already saw the ending of this movie. Adrian's hand was warm around mine. Every time I glanced at him, he smiled at me like I was his world. In another life, I would have been melting. Now, I searched his face for cracks. There were none. When it was time for the vows, the priest nodded at Adrian. You may begin. Adrian took a breath, still staring at me. Mia, he said, voice calm and strong. You are the best thing that ever happened to me. I tuned out the rest. I'd heard it all before. You are my safe place. You are my choice. Every day, again and again. I'll protect you. I'll never let you face anything alone. Lies wrapped in pretty words. Instead of listening, I focused on the room. Clara watched with a small, satisfied smile in her eyes. This wedding was a good deal. My father's company plus her son's status, perfect match. Emma dabbed fake tears from her eyes with a tissue. Leo, standing to the side as groomsman, watched Adrian with a strange look, part fondness, part worry. When the priest gestured to me, I snapped back. And now, Mia, he said gently, your vows. In my first life, I'd written them days before, full of cheesy lines and blind devotion. I had them memorized, but I didn't say them. I took a breath and looked at Adrian. Adrian, I began slowly, my voice echoing in the hall. The first time I met you, I thought you were too good to be true. A few people laughed softly. I didn't. I was scared you'd disappear. I continued. But you didn't. You stayed. You made me feel safe, seen, chosen. His eyes softened. He thought he knew where this was going. But, I said, and the air shifted, I also know that life isn't a fairy tale. People change. Feelings change. Promises break. Trust can be used, twisted, even sold. A quiet murmur rippled through the guests. Adrian's smile faltered for half a second. I don't believe in perfect love, I said. Not anymore. I believe in choices. So today, in front of everyone, I'm not promising to be blind. I'm not promising to follow you without questions. Noah's eyes widened slightly. Clara's lips tightened. I promise to see you, I said. Fully, the good and the bad. I promise to ask when something feels wrong, to speak up when I'm hurt, to look at the truth, even when it scares me. And I expect the same from you. My heart pounded. I'll stand beside you, I finished quietly. As long as you stand beside me honestly. Double quote silence. The hall felt frozen. Then the priest smiled. Honest words for an honest marriage, he said. Beautiful. People began to clap. Awkward at first, then louder. Adrian kept looking at me, searching my face. You really are different today, he murmured under his breath. Is that a problem? I whispered back. His jaw flexed. No, just no. The ceremony moved on. When the priest asked, if anyone knows any reason these two should not be wed, speak now or forever hold your peace. My heart skipped. In my head, I heard a scream, not from this life, but from the last. My own voice, shouting in a hospital hallway. Leo's weak gasp. Emma's fake sob. No one spoke. Of course no one did. They didn't know the reasons yet. You may now kiss the bride, the priest said. Adrian lifted my veil. He leaned in, his lips brushing mine. Gentle, warm, exactly like I remembered, only this time, while everyone saw a happy bride. My mind whispered, this is the last thing you get for free, Adrian. From here on, every lie you tell has a price, and I'm done being the one who pays it. Chapter 5. The fight by the stairs. If I didn't know better, I would have thought the reception was perfect. The hall glowed with warm lights. Waiters flowed through the crowd with trays of drinks and tiny, beautiful food that tasted like air. People laughed, clinked glasses, took pictures. The band played love songs that made other couples sway. It was a pretty picture, too pretty. I sat at the main table beside Adrian, smiling when I needed to, nodding when people toasted us, laughing at jokes I barely heard. My cheeks hurt from pretending. Inside, I was counting. How long until the argument? How long until the stairs? How long until the scream? In my last life, it happened sometime after the first dance. After the cake, after a few too many drinks and one fight too many, I wasn't going to wait helplessly this time. Are you okay? Adrian murmured, leaning close to my ear. His hand rested on the back of my chair, warm and possessive. I took a sip of water instead of the wine in front of me. I'm fine. You're quiet. I'm watching, I said. He huffed a soft laugh. Still doing that, huh? He turned his head and followed my gaze. Emma was at the bar, laughing a little too loudly with one of the groomsmen. Her dress shimmered under the lights. She kept glancing toward our table when she thought no one noticed. Clara sat closer to us, talking to my father about future collaboration like this was a business merger instead of a wedding. My father listened with a polite, tired expression. Noah stood off to the side, not really joining any group, just observing. Leah was near the far end of the hall, leaning against a pillar, drink in hand, watching everything like an outsider at his own friend's party. I focused on him. In my last life, I didn't pay attention until it was too late. He caught my eye and raised his glass slightly. A silent "you good." I gave the smallest nod. The band started playing our song, the one we chose for the first dance. Oh, look, Lena squealed, appearing next to the table. It's time for the romantic show. Get up, lovebirds. Adrian stood and offered me his hand. Mrs. Knight. The title burned my tongue, but I took his hand anyway. We walked to the middle of the dance floor as the guests circled around, watching. He pulled me into his arms. And how does my wife feel? He whispered as we swayed. I forced a smile for the crowd. Like she's in a movie she's already watched. Is that good or bad? That depends on the ending, I said. He chuckled. You're so dramatic today. You have no idea. We moved slowly, the lights dimming to focus on us. People took videos, flashing their phones. Someone whistled. Emma watched with a tight smile that didn't reach her eyes. I leaned my head closer to Adrian's shoulder, so only he could hear me. Don't drink too much tonight, I murmured. He raised a brow. Ordering me around already? I don't want you doing anything reckless, I said, or saying anything you shouldn't, especially near certain places. Like what? He asked lightly. The bar, the stairs, I said. His steps faltered for half a second, then he recovered, spinning me gently. Why the stairs? I had a nightmare, I lied, keeping my voice soft. About you and Leo. You were fighting there. He laughed, but it was a shade sharp. We don't fight. Everyone fights. Not like that, he said. And even if we did, I wouldn't start a brawl at my own wedding. Relax, relax. That's what people told me in my past life, too. The song ended to applause. Adrian kissed my forehead, cameras flashing around us. I smiled because everyone expected me to dot as soon as we step off the dance floor. A wave of people came up to congratulate us. I let Adrian handle most of it. My attention kept slipping away to the bar, the stairs, Leo, time blurred, toasts, laughter, clinking glasses. I pretended to drink. Adrian didn't pretend as much. At one point, I caught Emma cornering him near a tall flower arrangement, her hand resting lightly on his arm. She leaned in, saying something with a smile that was too intimate for a cousin-in-law. I walked closer, pretending it was random. Could have called me at least. She was saying, you left me on read for 2 days. I was busy, Adrian replied, voice low. Too busy to text me. She pouted. What if I felt abandoned? He sighed. Emma. Not here. Why not? She teased. Afraid your little bride will get jealous. I stepped into view. Too late. Emma jumped and quickly removed her hand. Mia, there you are. We were just talking about the weather, I offered. She laughed too loudly. Exactly. So crazy lately. Adrian's eyes flicked between us. Mia, do you need something? Yes, I said. My husband, actually. I held his gaze and waited. After a second, he exhaled and gave Emma a quick nod. We'll talk later. You promise? She asked softly. His jaw clenched. Yeah. I cataloged that one word. Later. I wasn't going to let later happen the same way. I hooked my arm through his and walked away, my smile frozen. "You're getting bold," he said under his breath. "You're getting sloppy," I replied. He gave me a sideways look. "Are we fighting at our own wedding now?" "No," I said. "We're adjusting." "To what?" "To reality." He didn't answer. Later, when people were full and drunk enough, the hall loosened. Kids ran around. Some guests left early. The music got louder. That was when I saw Adrian and Leo standing near the edge of the crowd. Their faces were tight, their body language wrong. No more jokes. No more easy smiles. This was it. I moved closer, staying behind a group of people so they wouldn't notice me yet. "You said you'd stop," Leo hissed. His voice low but sharp enough for me to catch. "I did," Adrian replied, jaw clenched. "I handled it." "No. You covered it," Leo snapped. "There's a difference. You think I don't know what you're doing with her father's company." My heart slammed against my ribs. "Here we go." "Keep your voice down," Adrian said. "This is my wedding." "Exactly," Leo shot back. "You get everything you want today, right? The girl, the company, the power. You think I married her for power?" Adrian's tone was cold. "You tell me," Leo said. "You're the one who forged those documents." My breath caught "forged documents." "So it really was you." "Adrian, careful," Adrian said. "You're drunk." "I'm not drunk enough to pretend this is okay," Leo snapped. "She trusts you. She'll be fine," Adrian said. "I'll fix it before it touches her." "That's not the point," Leo said. "You're using her name, her family. If this blows up, she'll be the one taking the hit." "I won't let that happen," Adrian said. "I told you, I'll handle." "You don't handle people, Adrian," Leo said bitterly. "You use them." Adrian's eyes darkened. "Watch it," Leo scoffed. "What? At a nerve. Or did Emma scratch it first?" I froze. Adrian stepped closer to him. "What did you say?" Leo laughed, but there was no humor in it. "You really thought no one would notice? You're not as subtle as you think. You might be able to lie to her." His gaze flicked past Adrian, and for a split second, we locked eyes. He'd seen me, but not to me. He finished quietly. Adrian noticed his shift and began to turn. I stepped out of hiding before he could catch me eavesdropping. "Hey," I said lightly, forcing my voice to sound innocent. "What are you two talking about?" Both of them stiffened. Adrian smiled first. "Too quickly." "Nothing important, just business stuff at your wedding." I asked. "How romantic." Leo looked at me, something like regret in his eyes. "Sorry, Mia. I know it's not the place." "No," I said. "It's the perfect place, because this is where everything went wrong last time." I glanced to the side. We were close to the staircase. Very close. "Can we not do this here?" Adrian said through his teeth. "People are watching." "Good," I said. "Then maybe we should all relax." I moved on instinct. I stepped between them and the stairs, placing myself where Leo had been before. "If I fall, at least I'll know it's not by accident," I said lightly. Leo's eyes widened. "What?" Adrian's smile froze. "Mia, you're being weird. You're both being reckless." I snapped quietly. "Whatever this is, end it. Right now. No more secrets. No more later." We were building a tower of tension, higher and higher. I could feel it trembling. Leo's hand tightened around his glass. "You want to tell her," he said to Adrian. "Or should I?" "Don't," Adrian warned. "Why?" Leo asked. "Because it ruins your fairy tale." Adrian grabbed his arm. Leo yanked it back. The movement was small, but his heel hit the edge of the top stair. My blood turned to ice. "Leo," I shouted. Without thinking, I lunged forward. Last time, no one caught him. This time, I did. I grabbed the front of his jacket and pulled with all my strength. His glass slipped from his hand and shattered on the floor. The sharp crack made everyone turn. Leo crashed into me. We both stumbled backward, away from the stairs. My back hit the wall, and pain shot through my shoulders. But I didn't care. We were on the floor, breathing hard. Alive. The hall went silent for a second. The noise rushed back in gasps, whispers, someone yelling for napkins, another person asking if we were okay. Adrian stood frozen, staring at us. For the first time that day, I saw real fear on his face. I looked up at him and smiled, even though my hands were shaking. Relax, I said. We're fine. Leo sat up slowly, wincing. You okay? He muttered. I'm not the one who almost tumbled down a staircase, I said. He looked at the stairs, then at my hand still gripping his jacket. His eyes were wide, shaken. You pulled me back. Yeah, I said. Don't get used to it. A few guests rushed over. Lena helped me up, fussing like I'd shattered. Someone checked Leo for injuries. The staff hurried to clean the broken glass. Adrian finally moved. He knelt beside us, mask slipping back into place. What happened? He asked, voice tight. Nothing, I said. Just a slip. Leo looked at me. We both knew that wasn't true. Asterisk. Chapter 6, Secrets in the Hospital Room. He thought changing one thing would be enough. I was wrong. We avoided the fall, but we didn't avoid the hospital. It started small. After the staircase incident, the reception never quite recovered. People tried to go back to normal music, drinks, dancing, but the mood had shifted. Whispers followed Adrian and Leo like shadows. Did you see that? He almost fell. Thank God she grabbed him. Why were they so close to the stairs anyway? Adrian forced out smiles and reassurances. Just a slip. He's fine. No big deal. I watched him closely. His hands shook when he thought no one was looking. Leo tried to act normal too. He laughed it off, joked about me saving his pretty face, even made a toast about how the bride's reflexes are better than the groom's. People laughed. I didn't, because as the night went on, Leo's jokes got weaker. His face grew paler. He pressed a hand to his chest more than once. The first time, I thought I imagined it. The second time, I didn't. I caught him sitting alone at a small table near the back. His tie loosened, his breathing a little too fast. He pressed his fingers against the space just above his heart, his jaw clenched. I walked over, my dress dragging softly against the floor. Having that much fun? I asked. He looked up, tried to smile, failed. Hey, bride. Just taking a break from all the joy. You don't look like you're taking a break, I said. You look like you're dying. He huffed a weak laugh. Wow. Romantic. Are you okay? I asked. I'm fine, he said, too quickly. Just tired, liar. I learned from the best, he muttered. I hang out with Adrian. I sat down across from him. Up close, the change was worse. There was a faint sweat on his forehead. His lips had lost some color. His hand was still on his chest, like he'd forgotten to move it. Leo, I said, my voice firm. What's wrong? He hesitated. Then he sighed, like the air hurt coming out. It's nothing. I just get these sometimes. Heart stuff. Comes and goes. Heart stuff, I repeated. That sounds like something that should be checked by a doctor, not ignored at a wedding. I am checked, he said. I have a doctor. I'm on meds. It's manageable. In what universe does I can't breathe properly sound manageable? I snapped. He shut his eyes for a moment. I said I'm fine. You're not. I said, you weren't this bad earlier. It's just stress, he muttered. From what? I asked, almost falling. Fighting with Adrian, watching him lie to the world. His jaw tightened. You heard more than I thought. I heard enough, I said. He opened his eyes and looked at me. Really looked. What are you doing, Mia? Trying to keep you alive, I said flatly. Apparently, that's a full-time job. He chuckled weakly. You should focus on your husband. I'm just the side character. That's the problem. I shot back. Side characters die for drama. Not this time. A sudden, sharp look of pain crossed his face. He sucked in a breath and pressed harder against his chest. I shot to my feet. That's it. You're going to the hospital. He shook his head, breathing shallow. No. I just need a minute. You had a minute. You lost it. I said. Get up. Mia. Get up. Leo. Something in my voice must have cut through his stubbornness. He tried to stand, but his legs wobbled. I grabbed his arm. Lena, I shouted that. She appeared out of nowhere like she always did when gossip was near. What happened? Oh my God, are you crying? Who do I kill? Not yet, I said. Help me. Leo needs a hospital. Her eyes widened. What now? In the middle of the reception? Do you want him to collapse on the cake? I snapped. Call Noah. I need his car keys. She didn't argue after the things happened fast. Guests noticed. Some panicked. A small circle formed as word spread. He's not feeling well. It's his heart. Should we call an ambulance? We'll drive him, I said. It'll be faster. Noah appeared at my side, already frowning. What's going on? Heart problem, I said. He needs to go now. Noah didn't waste time. He handed me his keys, then changed his mind and pushed them into Lena's hand instead. You drive, he told her. I'll help carry him. Adrian finally pushed through the circle. His face was pale, eyes sharp with alarm. Leo tried to grin. Relax, man. I just wanted attention. You were hogging it. Shut up, Adrian said hoarsely. What happened? His heart, I said. We're taking him to the hospital. Adrian looked between us, confusion and something like guilt flickering across his face. I'll go with no. I cut in. Everyone stared at me. You need to stay here, I said, my voice calm but hard. Your family is here, your business partners, your guests. If you leave, it'll turn into a scandal, and he doesn't need that on top of everything else. I don't care about that, Adrian snapped. He is my best friend. Then trust me to get him there, I replied. Unless you think I'm going to toss him out of the car on the highway. For a second, I saw the conflict in his eyes. Wedding image versus real loyalty. In my last life, I didn't see it. I was too busy drowning. Now, I watched him choose. Call me the second you know anything, he said to Leo. His voice was rough. You hear me? Leo nodded, a little dazed. Yeah. Don't start crying, hero. Your mascara will run. Adrian looked like he wanted to do more, to say more. But people were watching. Cameras, phones, Clara's cold eyes. He stepped back. That choice felt important. We half-guided Leo out of the hall. The night air outside was sharp and cool. My dress dragged, catching on the pavement. But I didn't care. We got him into the back seat. Lena climbed into the driver's seat, hands shaking as she started the car. Noah slid in beside Leo, checking his pulse with steady hands. You're going to? I asked Noah. Obviously, he said. You think I'm letting my idiot little sister go to the hospital with a half-conscious man and a panicking bridesmaid alone? I didn't argue. I got in the front passenger seat, clutching my skirt up so it wouldn't close in the door. And Lena hit the gas. The ride was a blur of streetlights and shallow breathing. Stay awake. Noah told Leo in the back. Talk about what? Leo asked weakly. Anything, I said, twisting around in my seat to look at him. Complain about Adrian. You're good at that. He gave a thin smile. He's an idiot. True, I said. What else? He thinks he's invincible, Leo muttered. Thinks he can juggle everything. You, the business. The deal with your father. He stopped, wincing. The what? I pressed. Focus on breathing, Noah said sharply. Save the confessing for later. We made it to the hospital faster than felt safe. Lena screeched to a stop, and Noah and I rushed Leo inside, shouting for help. The next few minutes were chaos. Doctors, nurses, questions, forms. Someone asking Leo about his medical history. Someone asking me if I was his wife. No, I said. Just a friend. That word tasted weird. Friend. They wheeled him away. We were left outside the examination room, buzzing with adrenaline. My wedding dress now wrinkled and dirty at the hem. My hair was coming loose. My makeup was smudged under my eyes. I caught my reflection in a small glass panel. I looked like a ghost in a costume. You okay? Noah asked quietly. No, I said honestly. But I'm here. He nodded once. Good. Lena paced back and forth, biting her nails. They'll fix him, right? He's funny. Funny people don't die. That's not how medicine works, Noah muttered. I half listened to them, my mind running circles. This wasn't how it went before. The fall came first. The hospital was full of blood and bruises and broken bones. The heart thing might have been there, but it was buried under the accident. Or maybe I just didn't see it. I was too busy screaming. Now, the fall never happened. But Leo still ended up here. Maybe some things were always going to happen. I murmured. Noah looked at me. What? Nothing. I said. My phone buzzed in my hand. I glanced down. Adrian, is he okay? Adrian, what did the doctors say? Adrian, answer me. Mia. I didn't reply yet. A doctor finally came out, pulling down his mask. Family of Leonardo Hayes? We all stepped forward at once. How is he? I asked. He's stable, the doctor said. It was good you brought him in when you did. He was experiencing arrhythmia and signs of acute stress on a heart already under strain. Already? I repeated. He has a history, the doctor said. He knows this. You didn't. I shook my head slowly. We're going to keep him overnight for observation, the doctor continued. He'll need to change some things, avoid heavy stress. But for now, he's all right. You can see him for a few minutes, but keep it short. Thank you. I breathed. We went in one by one. Noah went first, quick and quiet, saying something low I couldn't hear. Lena went second, crying and promising to bring him cake. If he didn't die, then it was my turn. I stepped into the room. Leo lay there, pale but alive, wires attached to his chest, a monitor beeping steadily beside him. He turned his head when he heard the door. Hey, he said weakly. Told you? Fine. You're in a hospital bed. I said. Your definition of fine is broken. He smiled faintly. You're here in a wedding dress. I feel underdressed. I stepped closer, the monitors beeping loud in the quiet room. Why didn't you tell me? I asked. About your heart. He shrugged with one shoulder. It's my problem, not yours. You almost died. I said, my voice shaking. Twice. He repeated. I caught myself. Once. I corrected softly. He watched me carefully. You keep saying things like that. Like what? Like you know more than you should. He said. Nightmares. Warnings. Asking about the stairs. Asking the right questions at the right time. It's weird. I sat down in the chair beside his bed. You're welcome, by the way. For what? For pulling you back, I said, and dragging you here. He looked at the ceiling for a moment. Yeah, thank you, he said quietly. I owe you one. Good, I said. I'm going to collect it. He chuckled. Should I be scared? Yes, I said, because I don't want a favor. I want the truth. He went very still. About Adrian, I said. About my family. About what you know. Mia, no. I cut in. Don't protect him. Not from me. Not anymore. He closed his eyes, as if the weight of everything pressed down on him. You really want to know? He asked. Yes. He opened his eyes again and looked straight at me. Fine, he whispered. Then listen carefully. The steady beep of the monitor filled the room. Adrian didn't marry you just because he loves you, Leo said. He married you because he needed you. My throat tightened. Needed me how? He needed your name, Leo said. Your access. Your father's company. Your signature on things he couldn't sign himself. I slid down my spine. He's been moving money, changing accounts, covering a fraud in one of his subsidiary companies, Leo continued. And if it goes wrong, if someone investigates, the trail leads to you. I gripped the edge of the chair until my fingers hurt. You're saying he's planning to use me as a shield. I told him it was wrong, Leo said. I told him he was crossing a line. He said he'd fix it before it touched you, that he'd protect you. But that's not how this works, Mia. You can't play with fire and then act surprised when someone else gets burned. That's why you fought with him, I whispered. At the stairs. Yeah, he said. I couldn't watch him do this and stay quiet. Not when it's you. I swallowed hard. Why me? He stared at me for a long moment. Because you don't see it coming, he said softly. Because you still look at him like he hangs the moon. And because he looked away. Because you're not just his wife to me. You're you. The monitor kept beeping. My heart pounded loud in my ears. In my last life. I never heard these words. I never got this warning. Leo's truth was buried under glass and pain and my own confusion. But now, I had it. Cold, clear, heavy. Adrian didn't just break my heart. He built his future on top of it. I stood up slowly. Get some rest. I said, that's it. Leo asked, you're not going to scream, cry, throw something? Not here. I said, or then. In the place he thinks he's safe, I replied. He watched me, worry and something like admiration in his eyes. What are you going to do, Mia? I looked at the hospital bracelet around his wrist, then at my wedding ring. Exactly what you said I never do. I murmured. What's that? See it coming, I said. And this time, I'm not the one who's going to get burned. Chapter 7. The groom I brought to the Firth ride back to the hotel felt longer than the ride to the hospital. Lena dropped Noah and me off at the entrance, then drove back to stay with Leo. My father had already texted, asking for updates. Adrian had called 3 times. I ignored every call and just sent one message. He's stable. Heart issue. Kept overnight. I'll explain later. I stepped into the lobby, my dress dragging, my hair half fallen, my makeup smudged. People stared. Of course they did. A bride walking back into her own wedding reception looking like she'd crawled out of a storm. Wasn't exactly normal. Noah walked beside me, hands in his pockets, watching everyone watch us. You don't have to stay, I told him quietly. Too late, he said. I want to see how this plays out. How what plays out? He gave me a pointed look. You, him, all of it. You're too calm. It freaks me out. I almost smiled. I'm not calm. I'm just done pretending I don't see what's right in front of me. We reached the doors to the hall. The music inside was softer now, the crowd smaller. Some guests had already left. Others hovered in little groups, whispering. As soon as I walked in, heads turned. There she is. That's the bride. Is her friend okay? I heard it was his heart. I ignored them and looked for one person, Adrian. He stood near the center of the room, talking to Clara and my father, suit jacket undone, tie loosened. His eyes were on the doors like he'd been waiting for me. When he saw me, relief washed over his face so visibly that it almost hurt to look at. He walked to me fast. Mia, he breathed, reaching for my shoulders. Are you okay? What did the doctor say? Is he's stable? I said. They're keeping him overnight. He exhaled like he'd been punched. His hand slid down my arms, gripping lightly. Good, good. I was going insane here, barely getting any information. I texted you. I wanted to hear your voice. He said. My chest twisted. He said that in my last life too. The night, he called to check on me while his lawyer drafted divorce terms. I stepped back, out of his hold. Can we talk? I asked. He froze. Now. Yes, I said. Now. Sweetheart, Clara cut in smoothly. Maybe you should rest first. You've had such a long day. The crisis is over. There will be time to discuss. This is the time. I interrupted, my voice calm but sharp. If I don't say what I need to say now, I'll never say it. My father studied my face. Noah crossed his arms, expression unreadable. I'll give you to a moment, my father said. But, Adrian straightened. Yes, sir. My father's gaze hardened. I hope nothing you've done will give my daughter more reasons to end up in a hospital someday too. The words hung in the air like a warning shot. Adrian swallowed. Yes, sir. He repeated quietly. Noah gave me a short nod that said, I'm nearby if you need me. Then followed my father and Clara away. It was just us. Adrian and me. Husband and wife. A liar and his second chance. Where do you want to talk? He asked. Somewhere quiet. I said, where you can't pretend later that you misheard me. His brows were upon. Why would I do that? I didn't answer. We walked out of the hall and down one of the side corridors, past empty meeting rooms and framed art that no one ever really looked at. The world outside the big party was silent. I stopped in front of a small private lounge, one we'd used earlier, to sign some ceremonial forms for the hotel. How fitting. I stepped inside. He followed. The door clicked shut behind him. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Adrian was the first to break the silence. You're scaring me. Good, I said. Maybe you finally know how I feel. He exhaled slowly, trying to stay calm. Is Leo really okay? Yes, I said. He'll live unless his heart explodes from keeping your secrets. His eyes snapped to mine. What does that mean? I walked to the small table in the room, where a forgotten bottle of water and some napkins sat. I picked up the bottle, twisted it open, then set it down without drinking. I had a very interesting conversation at the hospital, I said lightly. Do you know what he told me? Mia, Adrian said, his voice careful now. Whatever he said, you need to remember he wasn't feeling well. He was under stress. He was under your shadow. I cut in. That's what he was under. He frowned. What did he say? He said, I replied calmly, that you didn't marry me just because you love me. You married me because you needed me. His jaw clenched. That's not, he said you needed my name. I continued, talking over him. My access. My father's company. He said you forged documents with my name on them, that you've been moving money, hiding fraud in your subsidiary, and if it goes wrong, guess whose signature is waiting to catch fire? His eyes darkened. Silence settled between us like smoke. Is it true? I asked. He didn't answer. Adrian, I said quietly. Look at me. He did. Is it true? His throat bobbed. Yes, he said. My fingers tightened around the cap of the water bottle until it cracked. There it was. The confession I never got in my last life. I waited for the world to shatter. The way it did before. It did in single quotes T. This time. It broke clean. How long? I asked. A few months, he said. Before I proposed. Before I met your father formally. Before all this. So before you asked me to marry you. I said. Yes, he admitted. I let out a small, humorless laugh. So what was I, then? A bonus prize? A convenient package deal? It wasn't like that, he said quickly. At the beginning, yes. It was about business, about opportunity. At the beginning, I echoed. When was that exactly? The first time you smiled at me? The first time you kissed me? The first time you told me you loved me? Mia, tell me the exact moment I stopped being a business move and started being a person to you. I demanded. I'll wait. He flinched. He didn't have an answer. Not one he could say without sounding worse. I fell in love with you, he said instead. That's the truth. I didn't expect it. I didn't plan for it. I thought I could just keep it clean. But you made that impossible. You mean I messed up your nice, neat little manipulation? I asked. I must be so annoying. His eyes flashed. Can you stop twisting everything I say? Can you stop giving me things worth twisting? I shot back. We stared at each other. In my head, I said slowly, I always thought, if we ever had a big fight, it would be about something small. You forgetting an anniversary. Me being insecure. Something stupid. Not, I gestured vaguely. This, he ran a hand through his hair, ruining the perfect styling. I was going to fix it, he said. I told you that. How? I snapped. By quietly moving everything back before anyone noticed. By making sure I never saw the trail you used my name to cover. Yes, he said. Exactly. I wasn't planning to throw you under anything. I was going to make it so clean that I'd never know. I finished. He closed his mouth. And Emma? I asked. Where does she fit into your little strategy? His eyes flickered. She doesn't. Leo thinks she does. Leo doesn't know everything, Adrian replied. He only knows what it looks like from the outside. Then tell me how it looks from the inside. I said, because from where I stand, it looks like she's a lot more than a cousin to you. She's not. He said, she loves attention. She flirts with everyone. You know that. You're letting your jealousy. It's not jealousy, I cut in sharply. It's pattern recognition. He blinked. In another life, I whispered, I would have believed you. I would have said, I trust you, and smiled and let you hold me while you sank me without warning. He stared at me like I'd grown another head. And another what? I shook my head. Forget it. The point is, I don't trust you. Not now. Not with this. He went quiet. What do you want me to say? He finally asked, voice hoarse. That I'm a monster. That I used you. Find I did. At first. I saw your father, your name, your connection, and I thought, this could save everything I've built. I was desperate, Mia. There were holes I couldn't fill. People I couldn't pay. If the fraud came to light, it would have destroyed my company. And you couldn't stand that. I said, no. He snapped. I couldn't. I've worked my whole life to get here. I wasn't going to let it end because a few numbers didn't line up. So you lined them up with my name. He shut his eyes for a moment. I thought I could balance it. Give you everything? Give us everything. Make it work. By lying. By protecting us. He said stubbornly. Do you hear yourself? I asked softly. You keep calling it protection. But all I see is you putting me in front of you and calling it love. His shoulders slumped. What do you want me to do? He whispered. I fell silent. In my last life. I begged him. Please choose me. Please stop. Please tell the truth. He did in single quotes this time. I wasn't going to beg. I want my name off everything. I said finally. Every account, every contract, every document that ties your mess to me. I want it gone. His eyes widened. That's not simple. I don't care if it's simple. I said, I care if it's done. He raked a hand through his hair again. If I pull you out now, people will notice. Then they notice. I said, if there's fallout, we handle it honestly. Together. Or we don't handle it at all because I walk. His head snapped up. You leave. Over this. Yes. I said. The word surprised him. It didn't surprise me. He took a step toward me, eyes burning. You'd throw away everything we have. What do we have, Adrian? I asked quietly. Tell me, honestly, do we have trust? No. Do we have honesty? No. Do we have a marriage? Or do we have a contract where one person signed without reading the fine print? His silence was my answer. I took off my ring. The small circle of metal felt heavier than it looked. I rolled it between my fingers for a moment. I'm not filing anything tonight, I said. I'm not running away. I'm not making a scene. I'm giving you a choice. A choice. He repeated, voice hollow. Yes, I said. You either untangle me from your crime and stand next to me in the light. I set the ring gently on the table between us. Or you keep pretending this is all for love and watch me walk away without looking back. His jaw clenched. His eyes dropped to the ring, then back to me. You'd really do it, he said softly. You leave. Yes, I said again. Because I'd rather be alone and clean than married and used. He took a shaky breath. Give me time. I'll give you truth, I said. You have until everything you've touched with my name is clean. No more lies. No more later. And if you try to hide anything. I met his eyes. Steady. I'll burn it all down myself. Hurt and something like admiration flickered in his gaze. You weren't like this before, he whispered. You used to just trust me. I die from trusting you, I said quietly. You just didn't see the funeral. He stared at me, as if he wanted to ask what that meant. Instead, he said, I won't let you go. You already did, I replied. You just haven't signed the paperwork yet. We stood there, breathing the same heavy air, the ring glinting between us like a small, cruel moon. For the first time since waking up on this cursed wedding day, I felt something solid inside me. Not hope. Not love. Resolve. I turned toward the door. Mia, he said. I paused. I'll fix it, he said quietly. All of it, even if you never forgive me. I didn't look back. We'll see, I said, and I walked out, leaving him alone with the ring, the lies, and the fire he built with my name. Chapter 8. The second chance I chose for myself. The hotel room felt different now. Same soft bed, same big windows, same scattered makeup and bobby pins on the vanity. But the air had changed. The girl who'd gotten ready here hours ago believed she was walking into a love story. The woman standing here now knew better. I closed the door behind me and leaned against it, letting the quiet sink into my bones. Far away, I could still hear faint music from the hall, but it sounded like it belonged to someone else's life. My phone buzzed. Dad, heard he's stable. Come home tomorrow. We'll talk. Noah, don't sleep alone with your thoughts too much. They're loud. I typed back to my brother. Me, I'm okay. Noah, liar. But you sound less stupid than usual. Progress. A small smile tugged at my lips. I changed out of the wedding dress slowly. In my last life, I cried as I unzipped it. I left mascara stains on the fabric. I begged the universe to rewind, just a little, so I could fix whatever I did wrong. Now, my hands were steady. I hung the dress on the hook behind the door. It swayed a little, empty and hollow. Good job, I told it quietly. You finished your scene. I changed into simple clothes, the kind of thing I'd wear on a normal day. Jeans, a soft sweater. I wiped off the remaining makeup, washing the day off my face. When I looked in the mirror, I finally saw myself. No glitter, no veil, no fantasy. Just me. The girl who remembered dying without a body in a coffin. The girl who remembered lawyers, signatures, headlines. The girl who remembered standing outside a hospital room, listening to machines scream as Leo flatlined. The girl who woke up inside her own second chance. My phone buzzed again. This time, it was Adrian. Adrian, are you in your room? Adrian, I don't want to fight. I just want to see you. I stared at the messages for a long moment, then I typed back, me. Come up. Alone. There was a pause. Then, I sat on the edge of the bed and listened for his footsteps in the hallway. When the knock came, my heart still jumped. Old habits die slow. I opened the door. Adrian stood there. No tie. Shirt sleeves rolled to his forearms. Eyes darker than I had ever seen them. He looked less like a groom and more like a man who just watched his life tilt. We stared at each other for a second. Can I come in? He asked softly. Yes, I said, but leave the performance outside. He gave a tired huff. I don't have the energy to perform right now. Good, I replied. Then this might actually be useful. He stepped in and closed the door. For a moment, he just looked around the room, like he was memorizing it. This is where you got ready, he said. Where you put on the dress, where your day started. Feels like a lifetime ago, I said. He turned his gaze back to me. You really would have left, wouldn't you? If I had lied just now. Yes, I said. I would have. He seemed to accept that. What did you do after you left the lounge? I asked. Called my lawyer, he said without hesitation. Told him to draft a list of every document, every account, every deal that has your name attached. We're going to separate them, all of them. How long will that take? A while, he admitted. But I'm not asking you to wait blindly. I'll send you everything, every step, every file. You'll see it all. You're going to confess to my father. I asked. His jaw tightened. I'll take responsibility for what I did. I won't let this blow back on you. Good, I said, because if you don't, I will. He believed me. I could see it in his eyes. Why? He asked suddenly. I frowned. Why what? Why are you still here? He asked. You could have run, called it off, told everyone what I did, walked out and never looked back. I still might. I said. That's not an answer. He replied. I took a breath. Because this was the part I hadn't told even myself yet. I didn't stay for you, I said. I stayed for me. He blinked. What? I stayed. I continued. Because in another version of this story, I didn't get a choice. Everything just happened to me. Your lies, the accident, the divorce, the blame. I was dragged through it without understanding, without power, without a voice. Memory twisted like a knife. I didn't get to decide anything back then. I whispered. People decided for me, spoke for me, used my name, made me the villain in a story I didn't even know I was in. Adrian watched me, confusion flickering with something almost like fear. In this life, I said quietly, I want to be the one who decides when it ends. He swallowed. This life. I met his eyes. If this was the first time, I said slowly, maybe I'd be softer. Maybe I'd forgive faster. Maybe I'd tell myself you were just desperate and scared. My fingers curled into the bedsheet. But this isn't the first time for me. I finished. He stared. You keep saying things like that. What does that even mean, Mia? I almost told him. I almost said, I already married you once. I already watched you destroy me. I already buried Leo in my memory. I already signed the papers. I already died. Adrian died instead. I said, it means I've seen this story play out. And I hated the ending. He stepped closer, slowly, like I was something fragile. Tell me how it ends, he said. I laughed weakly. You really want spoilers for your own downfall? Yes, he said. If I'm the villain in your head, I want to know how bad it gets. I held his gaze. You got everything, I said. My trust, my loyalty, my name on your documents, my voice defending you when everyone else doubted. And when it all collapsed, you let me fall with it. His jaw clenched. I would never. You did. I said simply. You stood there and let them use me as the shield. You walked away with a clean record and a broken wife. His voice came out rough. That's not who I want to be. But it's who you were. I said, if not in this reality, then in the version of it that still lives in my head. He closed his eyes briefly, like the image hurt. What about Leo? He asked quietly. How does it end for him? I looked away. You don't want to know, I whispered. His silence was answer enough. I moved to the window and looked out at the city lights. For a second, my reflection overlapped with the view me, standing small against a world that didn't care if I broke. You know what the worst part is? I asked. What? He said. I loved you, I said. So much it made me stupid. I would have forgiven anything if you'd just chosen me, fully. Honestly, no conditions. No hidden agendas. No, just one last thing behind my back. I turned around. I don't love you like that anymore, I said. His face stayed calm, but his hands tightened at his sides. Did you stop loving me? He asked quietly. Or did you start loving yourself more? I blinked. That was not the question I expected. Both, I said slowly. I think I had to lose one to find the other. He nodded once, like the answer hurt but made sense. So what now? He asked. You want to stay married while you decide whether to leave? You want separate rooms, separate lives. Tell me what you want, Mia. I'll take it. I deserve it. For once, the honesty didn't feel like a trick. What I want, I said, is very simple. I walked back to him until we stood close enough that I could see the tired lines around his eyes. I want my freedom, I said. Not legally, emotionally, mentally. I want to know that if I stay, it's because I chose to, not because I'm trapped in a mess you pulled me into. His throat bobbed. How do I give you that? I thought of Leo in his hospital bed, hooked to monitors. I thought of Emma's hungry eyes. I thought of my father's warning and Noah's quiet support. By telling the truth, I said, not just to me, to everyone. His eyes widened. You want me to confess? Yes, I said. To my father, to your board, to whoever needs to know. You fix what you can. You accept the fallout, and you don't drag me down with you. If you do that, then maybe I can believe you're not just the man from my nightmare. He looked torn between horror and relief. You're asking me to destroy everything I built, he said. No, I replied. I'm asking you to stop building it on other people's bones. We stared at each other. I'll do it, he said eventually, voice low. Not for us, for you. Because you're right. You deserve someone who doesn't use you as a shield. Good, I said. Because whether we stay together or not, I'm not going back to being the girl who apologizes for your choices. He gave a weak, bitter smile. You really did die once, didn't you? The words sent a chill through me. I didn't answer instead. I stepped back and picked something up from the nightstand. The ring. He stared at it in my hand. I'm not putting this back on tonight, I said. Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe not ever. I don't know yet. He nodded slowly. But I'm also not throwing it away, I continued. Not because of you, because of me. Because this day still happened. I still walked that aisle. I still heard those vows. I still saved your best friend's life. I'm not erasing that. So what do you call this? He asked. If we're not really together, and you're not really gone, what are we? I thought for a moment. That, I said. You owe me the truth. You owe Leo his life. You owe yourself a chance to be someone you're not ashamed of. And what do you owe me? He asked quietly. I met his eyes. Nothing, I said. That's the point. Something broke behind his gaze. He looked away, breathing slowly like he was trying not to crack open. Okay, he said finally. Then I'll start paying what I owe. I nodded. He walked to the door, then paused with his hand on the knob. Double quotes, just so you know, he said without turning around. This life, you're not the only one who feels like they've lived it before. I stared at his back. What do you mean? He hesitated. For a while now, he said, I've had this feeling. Like I'm walking into a test I already failed. Like I've already watched you look at me like you are now. Like I already lost you once. My breath caught. But maybe it's just guilt, he said, opening the door. I guess we'll see which one it is when the story ends. He left, the door closed softly behind him. I stood alone in the room again, heart pounding, mind spinning. Maybe I wasn't the only one haunted by a past that hadn't happened yet. Maybe the universe hadn't just rewound time. Maybe it had given both of us a mirror and asked, what will you do with it this time? I lay down on the bed and stared at the ceiling, the ring resting on my palm like a tiny, heavy question mark. For the first time, I didn't pray for things to go back to how they were. I prayed for the strength to walk forward, even if it meant walking away from him, from the life I thought I wanted, from the version of myself who died for love that didn't deserve her. Sleep came slowly, full of whispers and broken scenes. But underneath the noise, there was one quiet, steady thought. I was reborn on my wedding day. Not to save him, not even to save Leo, but to finally save myself. Chapter 9. The wedding day that finally ended. He woke up before the sun. For a moment, I didn't know which life I was in. Hospital beeps, lawyer voices, the metallic taste of blood in the air, a cold signature on a divorce document. Then the soft hotel sheets pulled me back. The ceiling was the same. The room was the same. The weight on my chest was the same. But I was not. My phone buzzed on the nightstand. I checked the time. 6:12 a.m. Two messages waited for me. Noah, coffee downstairs in an hour. We need to talk. Adrian, meeting my lawyer and CFO at 8. I meant what I said. I'll send you everything. I stared at Adrian's message for a full minute. In my last life, I would have clung to it like a promise. Now, I treated it like evidence. I got dressed simple again. No white, no lace. Just a dark dress and a ponytail. I splashed cold water on my face and stared at my reflection. You're not a victim in this one, I told her. Move like it. Downstairs, the hotel's morning calm was strange. Empty chairs, quiet music. The staff moved like ghosts. Noah sat in a corner with 2 cups of coffee and a plate of croissants he'd mostly destroyed out of boredom. He looked up as I approached. Well, he said, eyes sweeping over me. You don't look like you exploded. Good sign. I'm rearranged, I said, sitting down. not exploded. He pushed one cup toward me. How bad was it? Bad, I said, and honest. He listened as I told him everything: Leo's confession, Adrian's admission, the forged documents, the plan to cut my name out of the mess. I left out the part about dying in a different timeline, one disaster at a time. When I finished, he leaned back, jaw tight. So he used you, Noah said, on purpose. For months. Yes. And you're still here. He added, yes. He stared at me. Why? I took a sip of coffee. Because if I run now, I said, I leave the battlefield with my name still on his weapons. I forgive nothing. I fix nothing. And I stay the girl who was always one step behind her own life. He studied me for a moment. You're different, he said. I know. I mean really different, he went on. Before, if someone had told you this, you would have cried for days. Apologized for causing trouble. Tried to understand him before you understood yourself. Before what? I asked quietly. His eyes softened. Before whatever happened to you that you still won't talk about. He said. I looked away. He didn't push it so. He said instead, what's the plan? Step 1. I said, I'm going to the hospital to see Leo. Of course you are, he muttered. Step 2. I continued, I'm going to watch Adrian try to clean up his own mess. With evidence, screenshots, documents. If he lies, even once, I'm done. And step 3? He asked. I hesitated. Step 3 is, I took a breath. I decide if being married to him is worth living with who he was. Noah nodded slowly. If it's not, I'll help you pack. I know, I said. He finished his coffee and stood up. Go see your almost dead idiot, he said. I'll keep an eye on your almost ex-idiot. A small smile tugged at my lips. You're the best. I know, he said. The hospital felt different in daylight. Less haunted. More tired. I walked the now familiar corridors to Leo's room, nodding when the nurse recognized me as the bride from last night. Apparently, I'd become a small legend. I knocked once and pushed the door open. Leo was awake, propped up against the pillows, scrolling on his phone. His hair was a mess. His hospital gown looked like it offended him. You look awful, I said. He smiled. You look better. Less zombie bride, more terrifying main character. I'll take that as a compliment. It was. He said. I sat down in the same chair from last night. How's the heart? I asked, still beating. He said, annoyingly. The doctor says I need to lower my stress. I told him to take it up with my friend who forges documents, and my friend who drags me away from death by stairs on her wedding day. You're welcome, I said. He tilted his head, studying me. You talked to him, didn't you? Yes, and he admitted it. I said, all of it. Leo let out a slow breath. Did he finally understand how messed up this is? Or is he still acting like he's the tragic hero who just made a few bad choices? Somewhere in the middle, I said honestly. He's guilty. He's desperate. He's also still capable of lying to himself. Leo snorted. Sounds like Adrian. He's going to cut my name out of the mess, I said. He's already started. That's something, Leo said. Then his eyes sharpened. But what about you? What about me? Are you staying? He asked. With him. And this marriage. And this whole circus. I stared at my hands. I don't know yet, I said. I'm not deciding fast again. The last time I rushed, I woke up at the edge of ruin. He frowned. Last time. I shook my head. Forget it. He watched me for a moment. You really are different, he said softly. It's like someone pressed fast forward on your character arc. Maybe, I said. Or maybe dying once just sharpens things. It slipped out before I could stop it. He blinked. Dying once? My heart stuttered. For a moment, I considered lying. Then I thought of all the lies that brought us here. I remember another version of this. I said quietly. Of us, of this day, of this marriage. He went still. I remember you falling, I whispered. Head first. Blood on the stairs. Sirens. Coma. His fingers tightened on the blanket. I remember Adrian choosing his company over me. I remember signing papers. I remember watching myself turn into a headline. I remember the end. No second chances. No warnings. Just the consequences of trusting the wrong person too much. Silence filled the room like water. Leo stared at me like he was seeing a ghost. Do you believe me? I asked. He swallowed. I don't know what I believe, but I know you're not lying. How? I asked. Because no one makes up that kind of pain for fun, he said. I let out a shaky breath. Okay. He said slowly, let's say I believe you, or at least I choose to act like I do. What's different this time? You're alive, I said simply. That's the biggest difference. He looked at me like that mattered more than anything. And you? He asked softly. What's different for you? I'm not waiting to be saved, I said, and I'm not letting love be an excuse anymore. He watched me for a long moment. You know, he said finally, voice low. For what it's worth, if I were him, I never would have used your name like that. I met his eyes. I know, I said. Something heavy and warm passed between us. Something that felt like almost but not yet. The door opened suddenly. Adrian stood there, suit on, tie fixed, hair neat again. He looked like he'd rebuilt his mask and glued it tighter. Am I interrupting? He asked. Yes, Leo and I said at the same time. Adrian gave a weak laugh. At least you're synchronized. I stood up. How did it go? He walked in, closing the door behind him. The lawyer's working on the documents. I've already sent the first list to your email. Every account tied to your name. Every contract. We'll start detaching you today. Good, I said. And, he added, I booked a meeting with your father. I'll tell him everything. Leo raised a brow. Everything? Or Adrian filtered everything? Everything, Adrian said firmly. He looked at me. No more halfway truth. You were right. I can't fix anything if I keep hiding the rot. For a second, I almost believed we'd stepped into a different story. Don't confess just to look noble, I said. Do it because you're done being the kind of man who burns people to stay warm. His eyes softened. I am done. We'll see, I replied. He nodded once. Then he turned to Leo. You scared the hell out of me, Adrian said. His voice wobbled just a bit. Twice. Get in line, Leo replied. Her first. Adrian looked at me. He's right, he said. About one thing. Just one. Leo muttered. If anyone deserves an apology first, it's you, Adrian said to me. But I don't think sorry is big enough for what I did. It isn't, I agreed. He didn't argue. But you can start there, I added softly. He took a breath. I'm sorry, Mia, he said. No excuses. No but. No, I was just. For using you. For lying to you. For thinking I could build a future for us on something dirty and call it love. A sharp, aching warmth flickered in my chest. I'm sorry I made you doubt yourself, he continued. Your instincts. Your worth. I'm sorry I made you feel like asking questions was wrong. He swallowed. And I'm sorry, he said quietly. That some part of you had to die. Before I finally saw how badly I'd failed. You? The room was very quiet. Even the monitor seemed to beep softer. I didn't forgive. Him. Not yet. Maybe not ever the way I used to. But something inside me unclenched. Just a little. Good, I said. Now you can say the rest to my father. And to the people whose money you played with. That's where the real apology goes. He nodded. I will. Leo cleared his throat. As your almost dead best friend. I also accept apologies in the form of a lifetime supply of whatever I ask for. You're getting a new cardiologist and a therapist, Adrian said. That's your supply. Wow. Leo muttered. Oppression. We all smiled. It was small. But it was real. Later, when we left the hospital together, the air felt different again. Brighter. Sharper. More honest. Outside. The city moved like it didn't care about our drama. Cars honked. People walked. Life went on. Adrian stood beside me on the sidewalk. So, he asked, is this where you walk away in slow motion and never look back? Not today, I said. Surprise flickered in his eyes. No. I repeated. Today isn't about endings. It's about adjustments. We're not fixed. We're not okay. We're not romantic. We're just not lying. What are we then? He asked. I thought for a moment. We're a question, I said. One I'm not in a rush to answer. He nodded. Can I at least drive you home? He asked. Not alone. I said. No more closed rooms with just us and your persuasive voice. He huffed a laugh. Fair. Who's coming? Your brother. No, I said. Leo. Both men turned to look at me. You just got out of the hospital. Adrian protested. Exactly. I said. The universe already tried to put you in the ground. It failed. That makes you the safest person in this story right now. Leo grinned weakly. Can't argue with reincarnation logic. Adrian frowned. Reincarnation? Inside joke, Leo and I said at the same time. We walked toward the car. For the first time since waking up on my wedding day, both times I didn't feel like I was being dragged. I felt like I was walking under my own power. Maybe my marriage would survive. Maybe it wouldn't. Maybe Adrian would really change. Maybe he WOULD in single quotes T. Maybe one day I'd fall in love again with him, with someone else, or just with the life I'd fought for. I didn't know. For once, that didn't terrify me, because this time, whatever happened next would be my choice, not my punishment, not my blind spot. Mine. As I slid into the back seat beside Leo, he nudged my shoulder. You know, he said quietly, if you ever decide you're done giving him chances, you can always just choose you. No husband, no drama, just peace. I looked at him. I am choosing me, I said. Every step. He smiled. Good. I like this version of you. So do I. I admitted. The car pulled away from the hospital. I watched the building shrink in the rearview mirror, then disappear. My wedding day had ended twice. Once in tragedy, once in fire. But this time, as the road opened in front of us, I felt something I hadn't felt in either life. Not naive hope, not blind love. A quiet, steady certainty. Whatever came next, revenge, forgiveness, divorce, reconciliation. A whole new life. I would meet it with my eyes wide open. I was reborn on my wedding day, not to repeat the story, but to finally write it myself. Chapter 10. The life I chose after the fiery. A week after the wedding that wasn't. My life finally stopped feeling like a single, endless day. Time started moving again. Not in big dramatic ways. In small ones. Morning coffee with Noah at the kitchen counter. Daily text updates from Leo about his boring heart. Emails from Adrian's lawyer with long, detailed lists. Meetings with my father where he watched me, like he was trying to see the edges of who I was becoming. No flowers. No romantic speeches. No grand apologies repeated until they sounded cheap. Just work. Cleaning. UNKNOTTING. I didn't move back into Adrian's apartment. I moved back into my old room at my father's house instead temporarily. I said. No one argued. At breakfast one morning. Dad set down his newspaper and looked at me over his glasses. So, he said calmly, your husband asked to speak to me. Alone. I told him no. I blinked. You did? Yes. He said. I told him if he wants to talk about something that involves you, he doesn't get to do it without you present anymore. You're not a child. I won't let you be treated like one. Something in my chest loosened. Thank you, I said quietly. He watched me for a moment, then said, do you still want this marriage? The question was simple. The answer wasn't, I don't know yet. I said honestly. He nodded like that was acceptable. Then don't rush. Businesses panic and rush. People with power don't. I almost laughed. Are you calling me powerful? He folded the newspaper. You pulled a man back from the edge of a staircase and then dragged my son-in-law into the light about his fraud. If that's not power, I don't know what is. I stared at my toast. You're not angry. I asked about what he did, about what almost happened to your company. To me, though, I'm furious, he said. But anger is a tool, not a steering wheel. I looked up. These past few days, he went on. I've been watching you. The old you would have shielded him, made excuses, told me not to ruin his life. This version of you walked into my office, put a stack of documents on my desk, and said, this is what he did. I'm not covering for him. Do what you have to do. That was your company on the line. I said, not just my feelings. No. He corrected gently. That was your life on the line. Your name, your future. The company I can rebuild. You, I cannot. My eyes stung. I looked away so I wouldn't cry into my eggs. Whatever you decide. He added softly, marriage or divorce, forgiveness or not, make sure you choose for you. Not for me. Not for appearances. Not for some fantasy version of him you keep hoping he'll become. I swallowed. I'm trying. I can see that, he said. 2 days later, we had the meeting. Me, my father, Adrian, his lawyer, our CFO, a room full of people who all, in different ways, had their fingerprints on my life. We sat around a long table in my father's office, the same room where, in my last life, I'd been called in and quietly informed that I was partially liable for some of Adrian's mess because of my signatures. This time, there were no quiet warnings. There was a stack of printed documents in front of me and a laptop open to my inbox. Every file Adrian's lawyer had sent was there, highlighted and organized. Contracts, transfers, agreements. My name, my signature. My stomach twisted. Adrian sat across from me, looking different than I had ever seen him in a formal meeting. No smooth charm, no lazy confidence, just tension and determination. He cleared his throat. There are 2 things I want to make clear from the start, he said. My father watched him like a hawk. Go on. First, Adrian said, Mia had no idea her name was being used like this. The decisions were mine. The pressure was mine. The lies were mine. She trusted me. I abused the trust. Hearing him say it out loud, in this room, made something in me shake. Second, he continued, I'm prepared to take full responsibility. If this leads to an investigation, I'll cooperate. If there are penalties, I'll pay them. If there are legal consequences, I'll face them. I won't let her be the one the world points at. His lawyer shifted nervously beside him, but didn't contradict him. My father was quiet. So you admit to fraud? He asked. Yes, Adrian said. I do. And you use my daughter to hide it? My father pressed. Yes, he repeated. I did. How many times? Dad asked. Adrian's lawyer jumped in. We've summarized the full scope. For major instances of forged or misrepresented documentation involving your daughter's name. However, Adrian cut in, none of them can't be fixed. The money is traceable. We can reverse the moves. We can rebuild the accounts properly. It'll take time, but it's possible. My father looked at me. Do you want to hear how he plans to fix it? He asked calmly. Or do you want to walk out now? I stared at Adrian. He didn't beg me with his eyes. He just waited. I'll listen, I said. So I did. For an hour, I listened. To numbers, to dates, to desperate choices made months ago, to quiet steps taken in the shadows of my trust. Every time my name appeared on the screen, I felt a little more detached from the girl who had signed it. By the end, my head hurt. My father leaned back in his chair and steepled his fingers. You have a long road ahead cleaning this up, he said. But from a business standpoint, it's salvageable. Painful, but salvageable. Adrian exhaled, relief flickering across his face. But from a personal standpoint, my father added, I have to ask Mia a question. He turned to me. Do you still want to be tied to him during that process? Silence. The entire room turned into a held breath. I looked at Adrian. He didn't look at me like a man expecting forgiveness. He looked at me like a man waiting for a sentence. My mind flashed through all the moments that led here. His smile when he first asked me out, the way he'd held my hand at our engagement party, the warmth when he'd said I love you, the cold in his voice when he'd prioritized his company over me in that other broken life, Leo's confession in the hospital, My own bloodless death. My rebirth with all the memories intact. The second chance I hadn't asked for but got anyway. My heart felt heavy. We can fix this on paper, I said slowly. I believe that. We can separate my name, my accounts, my shares. We can make sure I walk out of this clean, at least legally. Adrian's throat bobbed. But we can't erase what he did with the trust I gave him, I continued. We can't undo the fact that he saw me as a shield before he saw me as a partner. Tears burned behind my eyes, but I didn't let them fall. In another life, I said quietly, I let that be the end of me. I let his choices define mine. I let my heart drag me through fire I didn't deserve. I won't do it again. Adrian's lips parted. Mia, I believe you're sorry, I said. I believe you're trying to fix this. I even believe you might change. But I can't build the rest of my life on maybe. Not when I already died once from betting on you. The room was very still. I'm not staying in this marriage, I said. There it was not screamed, not sobbed, not thrown like a weapon. Just dashed decided. Adrian closed his eyes for a second, like the words physically hit him. When he opened them again, they were wet. I understand, he said hoarsely. I'm not doing this to punish you, I added. I'm doing this to protect me. To protect the version of me who never got this chance to walk away. Noah's words echoed in my head. Did you stop loving him? Or did you start loving yourself more? Both. I thought again. Both. My father nodded slowly. There was sadness in his eyes, but also pride. We'll start the process, he said, quietly. On your terms. Adrian's lawyer cleared his throat. We can arrange a separation agreement first, then move toward divorce when don't rush, I said. I'm not disappearing. I'll still be here, watching, making sure everything is cleaned properly. I'll sign what needs to be signed, but I'm not signing. My voice wobbled, signing my heart back into this. Adrian swallowed. He stood up slowly, then looked at me. Can I say something? He asked. I nodded. He took a breath. I'm not going to ask you to stay, he said. I'm not going to tell you I'll change and that we'll be better, and that we'll laugh about this someday. That would be selfish. I've been selfish enough. My chest ached. But I will say this, he continued. You were the best thing in my life, even when I didn't deserve you, especially then. And if the price for finally becoming someone I'm not ashamed of is losing you, then I'll pay it. A tear slipped down his cheek. It startled me more than anything else. I hope, he said quietly. And whatever life comes after this, if there is one, you end up with someone who never makes you question if you're loved or used. I closed my eyes briefly. So do I. When I opened them again, our gaze held. Goodbye, Adrian, I said. Goodbye, Mia, he replied. He left the room. My father placed a hand over mine on the table. You did well, he said softly. For once, I believed him. Weeks passed. The headlines never came. We fixed things early enough, quietly enough, that the world didn't get its scandal. The cleanup hurt his company, but didn't kill it. He stepped down from some positions, took responsibility, faced consequences. He didn't fight the separation. He didn't fight the divorce. It wasn't dramatic. It was respectful. Almost gentle. One afternoon, months later, I visited Leo. He'd switched to a lighter workload. Doctor's orders. He wore a heart monitor sometimes and complained about it constantly. We sat in a cafe, sunlight slanting across the table. So, he said, stirring his drink, officially divorced. Paperwork's finalized next week, I said. Emotionally, I think the divorce happened the night I took off the ring. He nodded. Do you regret it? I thought about it. No, I said. I regret the version of me who didn't know better. But I don't regret the one who finally walked away. He smiled. That's my favorite version, he said. I laughed softly. Is that right? Yeah, he said. She's the one who pulled me off the stairs, dragged me to the hospital, forced me to get a real cardiologist, annoyed me into staying alive. You're welcome, I said. He watched me for a moment, expression gentler than his usual sarcasm. So what now? He asked. For you? I don't know. I said. Maybe I'll work with my dad for a while. Maybe I'll start something of my own. Maybe I'll just breathe and love. He asked quietly. I held his gaze. Love can wait, I said. For once, it can wait its turn. He nodded, but something warm flickered in his eyes. Good. He murmured. Then maybe, next time it shows up, it'll know it has to meet your standards, not drag you down to its level. I smirked. Is that your way of saying you're raising your standards too? Obviously, he said. I almost died. Twice. I'm allowed to be picky. We both laughed. The sound felt clean. Later, walking home alone, I passed a bridal shop. A mannequin stood in the window in a dress not unlike the one I'd worn. Lace, sparkle, promise. I stopped and looked at it for a moment. My chest tightened with memories. Then something else bloomed there. Not bitterness, not longing. Peace. I touched my finger where the ring used to beat. I hope the next bride remembers who she is under the dress. I murmured. Then I kept walking. I didn't know if the universe would ever twist time for me again. I didn't know if Adrian would truly become a better man, with or without me. I didn't know if Leo's heart would stay strong, if my own would fully heal, if love would ever feel simple again. But I knew this. On the day I died, I thought I'd lost everything. On the day I was reborn, I thought my job was to fix everyone else. I was wrong both times. This life, this chance, this version of the story, it wasn't given to me to save a man, or a marriage, or even a friendship. It was given to me so that this time, when the fire came, I'd walk through it and come out on the other side still myself, not a wife, not a shield, not a victim, just me. And for the first time, that felt like more than enough.